Hey, what's going on out there, NFL fans, Atlanta Falcon fans? This your boy Antoine. Smitty Sports Machine, man. Y'all know I get down. Y'all know I do it, man. Press that subscribe button. Also press that notification bell. Get my videos as soon as I drop them. Press that like button, man. To help me get my recommendations up. To get my video through the YouTube universe greatly. Appreciate y'all as always. But before we start, man, come on in. Come on in. I'll give y'all time to come on in. But the question at hand today, man, is who's the greatest Falcon of all time? And this question was actually spurned by the Atlanta Falcons themselves, man. They put up this post on Twitter and they said, who is the best player to wear this jersey, Falcons jersey? And it's a lot of mixed reaction from fans, man. And it is not a surprise, man, because like I said, man, I've been a Falcon fan since 1989. I was 10 years old when I first got into football, man, and watching football and studying football. But when you look at it, man, 34 years is a long time to be a fan. And I've seen the ups to downs and all that good stuff. CJ 23 says Julio Jones, RGA Tell for life. What's up, my dude? Miss B, what's good? But 34 years as a fan, as I was saying, man. And while I'm going, y'all can drop y'all comments in the drop y'all favorite player all the time with the Falcons. Y'all think it's the greatest Falcon all the time while I'm going. But 34 years as a fan, man, that's a pretty good while. And like I said, I've seen the highs, the lows, and it's ironic that I started becoming a fan of football when the year Deion Sanders was drafted because he just changed the whole landscape of Atlanta when it came to sports and the way the Atlanta people viewed sports. Because I'm gonna be real with y'all, when I was growing up, you couldn't give away a Falcons ticket. That was just like cursing at somebody. Um, and to be able to see, this thing from the inception of the Deion Sanders era, and which I think the Falcons actually started to turn things around. And don't get me wrong, we still had bad seasons after he got here, but the energy in the city was just different. And when the energy in the city is just different, that's something to behold from a player, a coach, or anybody. Now you get to the Deion Sanders era. And remind you, in 1980, they made it to the NFC Championship game. Could have been their first Super Bowl, but they ended up blowing that game against the Dallas Cowboys. So that was really, to me, their first great season. You fast forward 10 years later to the Deion Sanders era, too legit to quit. Well, 11 seasons, too legit to quit. You think about it, and like I said, that was the inception of the change. So you have Deion Sanders, Jesse Tugg on the same team, and two of those guys could be two of the goats, and they are. But I'm talking about just one particular person. I'm gonna give y'all mine in just a second. But fast forward through the '90s, still winning, still losing. So they had some up and down seasons. Um, I think you look at 2000s when Mike Vick arrives, the electric energy that he brought to the city, man, is just unmatchable. And I've seen people say Michael Vick is the greatest Falcon all the time. So it can go either ways. And I'm gonna go back just a little bit. Well, I'm gonna go back to the beginning. Clark Humphrey to me was the Falcons' first superstar player. And I know Tommy Novus played on the team with him for a while, but when you talk about one of the best defensive players that didn't get his credit, Clark Humphrey for the Falcons, probably was um, one of the best Falcons to ever play. So you could say Clark Humphrey, first Falcon superstar to me. Then you have Tommy Novus, like I said, he was a star in his own right, but Clark Humphrey played longer. And like I said, I can go on and on. I stopped with Michael Vick in the 2008 when Matt Ryan arrived. That's when to me the winningest era starts. Um, you have guys he threw to like Roddy White, Algie Cropper, Tony Gonzalez, who they got to trade, and all the way up to 2 years ago when he had Julio Jones. So Julio Jones was his favorite target, and Julio Jones could be the greatest Falcon all the time. But I'm gonna tell y'all who my greatest Falcon is all the time, and I'm looking at Matt Ryan. And this is the reason why I say Matt Ryan. The reason why I say Matt Ryan is as you look at his career as a Falcon, you look at his numbers, he's up there with some of the greatest quarterbacks of all time. You look at his leadership, something that he did very well against the Falcons. And I've been the one to say too that I feel like he could have did a little bit more as a leader. But I'm still gonna give him that role as a leader. You look at the way he played the game. He played the game the right way, and he played the game with a selfless way. Um, MVP in 2016, the only one to ever do that. So when you look at it, he's one of the winningest quarterbacks in NFL history and Atlanta Falcons history. He's taken the Falcons to two NFC championship games, one Super Bowl, which they lost. And I just haven't seen a quarterback that can measure up or a player that can measure up to Matt Ryan when it comes to longevity, numbers, awards, Pro Bowl. He hadn't been to many Pro Bowls, but I think Matt Ryan is probably the epitome of the Atlanta Falcons. If you look at when he arrived, like I said, that's the winning era. Atlanta football changed forever because he always had the right people around him, but he also was always put in a position to win, and because of that is actually because he always had players to get the football to. He always had a good running back behind him. And I think, to be honest, I just can't see nobody other than Matt Ryan. And the reason, and like I said, Jesse Tuggle and Deion Sanders played on the same team, but at the same time, who was the quarterback? Chris Miller. And Chris Miller, even though he led the league in touchdowns one season, he just wasn't the best quarterback that they had ever had. So when you talk about Matt Ryan, he always had weapons around him. He started off with Roddy White. They added Michael Turner, Tony Gonzalez, Julio Jones. Um, we can even say Devontae Freeman and Tevin Coleman because 2016, that was one of the best tandems in the NFL. And then you look at just a couple of years ago, you add Kyle Pitts after Julio Jones departs. So Matt Ryan has always been in a situation to win and put in a situation to win more than any other quarterback in Falcons history. So as far as players, he's put in a position to win. Weapons, he's put in a position to win. So Matt Ryan to me is the greatest Falcon all time. And I see y'all in the chat, man. And I gave y'all my greatest Falcon all time. Justin Switcher, he agrees with me. Matt Ryan. Floyd Dunley said he started in 1974. He started watching Hot Rod Roddy White. So he is a fan of Roddy White, and there's no problem. He could be one of the greatest Falcons. And I'm gonna give y'all the top 10 list soon of my greatest Atlanta Falcons, and then we can debate on that as well. Miss B, she says Jesse Tuggle. Smart Ride said it's not Matt Ryan. If it's not Matt Ryan, who it is? Smart Ride. Jeff Van Note played 20 years. He's a good one. He was in part of that era with Claude Humphrey. Well, not Claude Humphrey. Late 70s, early 80s, and on because he did play a long time. And what's funny, he was drafted to be a linebacker and ended up swapping his center and became a future All-Pro. And to be honest, he should be in the Hall of Fame. No Budget Trust said he's always been a Jesse Tuggle fan. Smart Rod says Jesse Tuggle. Wallace, what's going on? Good. Thank you for checking in. My boy Aaron Dale, the chef working in the cafeteria, says it's Matt. 62,792 yards, 381 touchdowns, 4-time Pro Bowler, Offensive Rookie of the Year, Offensive Player of the Year, and MVP. And that's all I'm saying. With the accolades, the awards, the weapons, and the team that's always put around him, they put that together for him to succeed. And I haven't seen the front office do that for any other player in Falcons history, and he took advantage of it. He did what he's supposed to do. He won games. Now they haven't had a winning season in 6 seasons, but before the Super Bowl season, all the way back to his inception in 2008, I think that was the most successful stretch in Falcons history, if you think about it. And as I said, man, I just got to go with Matt Ryan. But I'm gonna drop the link, and y'all just jump in right quick and tell me who is y'all's favorite Atlanta Falcon all time. I can't drop the link. Uh, where is the link? Where is the link? Can't drop the link, y'all. Sorry. But yeah, man. It's just amazing to me, man, that let me see. And I dropped the link. Okay, here we go. I got it going. Okay, so I'm gonna drop the link in the description, and y'all can just jump in right quick. JLR says prime time. We'll see. We'll see. But like I said, man, I think Matt Ryan, he just exceeded to me all expectations. In his first touchdown pass that he threw, we knew he had something special. And to be honest, I was kind of skeptical because when they drafted him, I watched him at Boston College. He had, talent, but I just didn't see him as a number 3 overall pick. I guess Thomas Dimitrov seen something else in him. But I think when you look at it, it was the right choice. And if he doesn't play another down in the NFL, I still think Matt Ryan is a Hall of Famer. So we'll see. Corey Chapman says the Hammer, Jesse Tucker, Tony Wright. What's popping, my dude? If y'all just joining me, I chose Matt Ryan as my guy to be greatest Falcon all the time. I just think he just always succeeded, put in the perfect situation, as I said. But let me know y'all thoughts, man. Click on the link, it's in the chat. Y'all jump in right quick. Let me know uh what y'all think and say it with your chest. So as we go on, Justice Swisher says, would you what would be your greatest all-time Falcon on defense? That's a great question. I would I'm gonna have to go Jesse Tucker. And the reason why I'm gonna go Jesse Tucker is because I watched his entire career in Atlanta, and right before I started watching football, he was drafted in 1988, undrafted out of Valdosta State. Fast, instinctive, and to me, he was one of the top linebackers in the league during his time in the NFL. He never got the recognition because of the teams he played on. That's what a lot of Falcons. They never got the recognition that they deserve. But when you look at Jesse Tugg and what he did for this team as far as a leader, putting up numbers, we talk about a guy that had 200 tackles about I think 4 times, if I'm not mistaken, and he was just a leader in all sense. And to me, Zach Thomas going into the Hall of Fame and not Jesse Tuggle is probably one of the dumbest things I've ever seen. Because if you look at the numbers, his numbers are right there. To me, they're actually better than Zach Thomas because tackles was something that they weren't keeping when Jesse Tuggle started. And I think Jesse Tuggle to me is a much better linebacker than Zach Thomas. And that's not taking anything away from Zach Thomas. But Jesse Tuggle to me from 1988 all the way up to 2000, he was one of the best linebackers in the league, bar none. He was the head. He was the leader of that 1998 defense that made it to their first Super Bowl. And Justin, I'm gonna just tell you, man, if you didn't get to see Justin Tuggle play, it was just a sight to see, man. You know, win or lose, he was gonna go out there every Sunday, and do his best. And hey, that's what I got for you, Justin. I'm going Justin Tuggle on that one. Mr. CDX for life says Black Glove Matt MVP. Definitely agree. This is a hard choice between Matt Ryan, Julio Jones, and Jesse Tucker. Yeah, it's a hard choice. But as I look at it, man, you talk now. You could put Julio because Julio was one of the most dominant receivers in any era. Because you talk about a guy, why with the Atlanta Falcons, 95 yards a game average, that was tops in NFL history. It's dropped down to about 89, so it's still in the top three. But if you look at it, Julio has a gripe. Jesse Tucker, as I just said, had a gripe because he was one of the best linebackers in his era. Julio was one of the best wide receivers his era, and Matt Ryan was probably a top 10 quarterback his entire career to me. And that MVP award, I think, put him over the top above the rest because he is the only Atlanta Falcon that can say that. Dexter Owen said his favorite defensive player was Rod Coleman. Rod was a beast, man. Rod, to me, he had a makeup just like what's his name? Aaron Donald. Small, quick, strong hands, but same makeup. He was Aaron Donald before Aaron Donald, but injuries killed his career. And I hate that he actually did not finish his career in Atlanta. Now he probably still lives here because I've seen him a couple of times. But Rod Coleman was that dude. I say Matt Ryan as he's in the top 8, not top 10, but top 8 in every statistical passing category in NFL history. Exactly, Tony. Exactly. Jesse Tucker was a tackling machine, big play machine. Agreed. And I'm telling y'all, Jesse Tucker was the only person I ever seen hit Barry Sanders' head on. The only person. No one else. John, what's up, man? He said I can agree with JT, but I also like Claude Humphreys. Claude Humphrey was a monster. 130 sacks in his career, unofficial, and they did not keep sacks then. But you talk about a guy that was up there with some of the Steelers greats like Mean Joe Green. Um, you talk about other great pass rushers, Simmons, Deacon Jones, guys of that nature. Claude Humphrey was right there. But like I said, he did not get the recognition because the teams were so bad. Even the 1977 team, best defense ever, only 7 points a game allowed, 7 or 8 points a game allowed. But they couldn't move the ball on offense, so they end up with a 7-7 record, and that's why they're left out of historical categories. So Claude Humphrey was definitely one of the best defensive players ever to play this game, whether it's defensive tackle or any other position. Just did not get the recognition because of who he played for. CTV 85, yeah, Privilege Price, bust. Rod Coleman was that dude. CDX for Life says Vic was must see TV. You should go to the dome to sit front row from outside to see him. That's what I'm talking about, man. He was that dude. Alberto, 95 North Falcons talk show, man. Y'all go check him out on YouTube. He's getting closer to 1,000 subscriptions. So if you haven't subscribed already, go to the description of this video, go straight to his channel, check out his work, and hit that subscribe button. And as I always say, it's free. So Alberto, what's up, my dude? Said Matt Ryan, hands down, ice cold, the comeback kid. And that's another thing. He was one of the best quarterbacks in NFL history when it comes to fourth quarter comebacks. He always found a way to wheel his team to victory, even though they did not have much to cheer about. But as I look at it, Matt Ryan, one of the best fourth quarter players in history. So that is another aspect of his game. We talk about a couple of seasons over 30 touchdown passes. So he's always put up the number and he's always done what he was supposed to do. In those, I can't pronounce that. Y'all know I'm bad with names. We just gonna call you Vision. Says the only answer is prime time, none other. And he has a gripe about it. But as I think about it, Dion was only here for 5 seasons. Falcons did not want to give him the contract that he wanted, so he left. And he said to himself, he wanted to finish his career here. And as I look at it, had he been on that 1998 team or before, yeah, the Falcons probably could have won a couple of Super Bowls had he stayed here. So when I look at it, man, I think primetime could be in the conversation, but I just don't think he's he had enough years here. And what's strange, Michael Vick, Deion Sanders, both were not here long term, but the 5 seasons with Deion and the 6 seasons with Michael Vick were 11 of the most exciting seasons, electrifying seasons in Falcons history. And no, they did not win all the time, but those two players changed the course of Atlanta Falcons history doing certain eras, and they were good at it. They were must-see TV, just like you said earlier. They were must-see TV. You could not turn the TV off. They could have a 2-12 record, but you still gonna watch Deion return that punt or get that interception, and you're gonna still watch Michael Vick use his leg to make plays, make throws that he could make, and that's just real. Julio Jones would have been third or fourth all-time in receiving yards and receptions if he hadn't got hurt dropping his production the last 3 years. I agree with that. He definitely with Tennessee and Tampa Bay, he's just not the same Julio, which is why he probably should have just took a pay cut, stayed here, did what he had to do, and finish his career here. Mr. CDX says my next door neighbor Bobby Butler was one of my guys, just because. CDX for life. Bobby Butler actually follows me on Facebook. I'm gonna try to get him on. He was another great Falcon cornerback out of Florida State, and he done his thing, man. He was later in his career when Deion came, but he was still one of the best cornerbacks to ever play for the Falcons. Smart Ricer can really give it to Matt because he had literally a Hall of Fame wide receiver with him his whole career. Smart Ride, that's what I said earlier. I think Matt Ryan was always put in a place to succeed. He took advantage of it. He did what he's supposed to do. And I can't knock him for that because you talk about other quarterbacks like Chris Miller, Mike Vick, Chris Chandler. They did not have Chris Chandler had weapons because he had Terrence Mathis, Tony Martin, Sean Jefferson. So they did have weapons. Then you go back to Jeff George in 1994, I think it was. He had one of the rare feats in the NFL. 3 receivers, 1,000 yards in one season. They did it with Bertie Manuel. I think it was Andre Rison. No, not Andre Rison. It was Terrence Mathis, Bertie Manuel, and Eric Metcalf, I think it was. So that was one of the teams to do that. So Jeff George in that shoot done what he was supposed to do when he had weapons, but he has had consistent weapons throughout his career in Atlanta, and that's the only quarterback that I can ever say that happened to. So that's why I give him the go because he did what he was supposed to, what he was given. And not a lot of Falcons teams can say that. Deion Sanders did not play long enough in Atlanta to be considered. I agree, Tony. Right? I agree. But again, man, I'm gonna put the link in the chat. Yeah, I want to jump in and talk to me right quick about who's the greatest Falcon of all time. Let it fly, man. So like I said, man, say it with your chest. So the link is up in the chat. JT Young says the top 5 single game wide receiver performers of all time. Julio has 3 of them. That's right. Yeah, Daniels 250 yards or more. The only other player that they have one. So you talk about a guy that could do it all, man. Julio was, top dog when it comes to wide receivers. And when I see great receivers all the time, you always see Jerry Rice, you always see Calvin Johnson. Julio is definitely in that conversation because I could think he could play in any era. He could have did that in any era, as long as he had a quarterback to get him the football. The Dixon Way. Y'all please go check him out on YouTube, The Dixon Way. He says, let's see. We win the Super Bowl if Deion was here in 1998. I said that earlier. Deion Sanders is the best player to don a Falcons uniform over half his career. Interceptions with the Falcons. No one dominated his position like prime time. I agree with that. But like I said, man, I just don't think he was here long enough to garner that because Matt Ryan was here 14 years. You had Jeff Van Note, who was here almost 20 years. I mean, other Falcons, Jesse Tuggle, 13 years. So when you look at it, even John Abraham, who I talked to the other day, the leading sack getter in Falcons history, he was here 7 seasons, and he did his thing, man. So Dion is always going to be one of the best Falcons. I just don't think he'll ever be the greatest Falcon. Now, when you associate with names, that's the first name you think of when you're talking about the Falcons. But his numbers, none of that back him up. Now, his play on the field, one of the greatest of all time. Now, if you talk about Dallas Cowboy, he was there, I think, 5 seasons also. So when you look at it, I just cannot put Dion. I can put him in the conversation. I just can't put him at the top. Now, I will say, like I said earlier, I'm going to do a top 10 Atlanta Falcons list soon, and we're going to have some fun with it. So he will definitely land in my top 10. His greatest Falcon all time. I just can't see it. Yeah, Rod Coleman was definitely underrated, Berto. Definitely underrated. Bobby Butler was a great cornerback, All American, and my favorite school, Florida State. Yep, Florida State, Mo Simmons. Bobby Bowden, one of the best coaches in college football history, man. He was there for a very long time. Like I said, man, y'all see the link in the chat. Go ahead and click it if y'all want to jump in and talk to me right quick. I have about 5 more minutes and I'm going to bounce. But I just had to come share this with you because the Atlanta Falcons put it up. So I had to know y'all reaction to it. Who's the best player to ever wear the jersey? I'm going to say Matt Ryan. I've seen Jesse Tuggle, Deion Sanders, Claude Humphrey. I've seen many. But let's see. Greatest Falcon ever is whoever wins us the Super Bowl. But Super Bowl is a team sport. So when the team wins the Super Bowl with 9 10, the quarterback is going to get credit for it. So it's the quarterback. And that, let me see. Grady Jarrett probably would have been the MVP. Super Bowl 51. Deion Sanders was a Falcon for 4 years, 5 years. Takes away 5 seasons. The exact time as the Cowboys. Agreed. Nacho, what's up, man? He gonna go with Tommy Nogus, Claude Humphrey, Matt Ryan, Deion Sanders, Julio Jones. That's his top 5. I can work with that. Timothy Williams, so he think it's just a Tuggle. You're afraid of top 5, and that's like I said, man. One thing about the Atlanta Falcons, man, that a lot of people don't understand. The Falcons have had some damn good offensive linemen over the years. You go all the way back to Jeff Van Noten center. He was probably one of the first notable offensive linemen with the Falcons. Then you get Mike Ken, Bill Straylick, Bob Whitfield, Todd McClure. I can go on and on up to now. I say Jake Matthews. So the Falcons have always had great offensive linemen. It's just about putting talent around them for them to do their job and help this team win. Now the Falcons, you look at them right now. This is probably one of the best assembled teams that you have ever seen in Atlanta Falcons history. Because I've seen some teams, boy, it was rough. And to me, back then, it just didn't seem like the Smith family cared about it. They were just worried about selling tickets, bottom line. And that, to me, that was all. And I'm going to tell y'all, like I said in the beginning, you couldn't give away a Falcons ticket back in the day. But now they got them $5,000 a piece. So the corner has changed, the times have changed. And it's just something that that's going on. Miss Dawn, what's good? Said I hate to say it, but it looked like Matt Ice. Agree. If it's a longevity award, then it's Matt Ryan or Julio Jones. If it's the greatest talent, then it's Dion. But I feel you on the longevity. Yeah. And there's no knock on Dion. It's just to me, I think longevity means a lot in any sport playing for one team. Because that lets you know that that player has given you everything they had for a very long time, and they just deserve recognition for it. So, yeah, longevity is definitely those two, plus Claude Humphrey, Jesse Tuggle, guys like that. But when you talk about talent, I think Michael Vick and Deion Sanders at the top of that list, easily. Dion. I would say Dion, Mike Vick, and Julio Jones. Those would be my top most talented players to ever play for the Falcons. Jake Matthews quietly become a top 10 Falcon all time. He's definitely getting up there. He's definitely getting up there. Dixon Wade says, hit that like button, man. 9 likes, 23 in the chat, man. Thank y'all for tuning in. Truly appreciate it, man. Like you said, man, get those likes up. And I had to do a quick pop-up, man. Me and my boy Berto, we're gonna take some time off, man. We're gonna probably be back first week of July. And we don't know who's gonna come on, but we're working on some things behind the scenes to bring y'all a little bit more content, more great content with players, journalists. Y'all can catch me Monday with Scott Kennedy. He talks Falcons. Scott Kennedy, y'all can check him out on YouTube. I will be on his show on Monday at 11 a.m. So it's going to be an early morning thing, and we're going to have fun on that show. So y'all see me around, man. Y'all see me in the streets. Just holler at me, man. I've had a good little bit of people that notice me while I'm out in the streets. They always stop to talk Falcon football. I love to chat with them right quick. And like I said, if y'all see me out in public, man, just holler. But to me, again, Matt Ryan is always, to me, been a stand-up guy, whether it's on the field or community. But he just, I think he just solidified that Atlanta way. I guess he's always had talent around him. And hey, it is. But before I get out of here, man, my boy Wolf gonna stop through and talk to me right.
Smith,
Wolf, what's up, man?
Good. What's up with you, Smith? You good?
I can't hear you.
Oh shit, my bad. Hold on. You good, Smith? You hear me? You hear me now?
Hey.
What's up, Smith? How you doing?
Can y'all hear Wolf?
I can hear you. You can't hear me?
I can't hear you, man. I can hear you.
You can't hear me? Hold on. This shit crazy. Hold on. Can't hear me? I can hear you.
Hello? What's up, Cheesecake?
Yo, what's up? I can hear you.
Can't hear you.
I can hear you.
Smith, you can hear me?
I don't know what's going on, man. Uncle Steve had a problem the other day. Let me see. Big Wolf, what's up, man?
You can hear me?
I can hear you now. Yeah.
Okay. What's going on, Smith? How you doing, bro?
I'm hanging in there, man. Hanging in there. That's all I can do, bro.
That's what's up, man. That's what's up, man. I see ain't nobody want to tap the link. I say, oh, okay, let me tap the link there. You know what I'm saying? Let me tap the link
man.
real.
Got to, bro.
Got to, boy. Anytime the link is dropped, I'm popping up everywhere. I just know that. Just know that.
But who you got all the time, man? Who you got all the time? Tell me who you got.
Interesting because for me it goes by errors. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
To me it goes by errors and stuff like that. I mean, you can't deny number 2. You can't deny number 3. You know what I'm saying? As far as being a kicker, you see what I'm saying? You can't deny number 7 what he did, 58. You can't deny none of these guys, man. You know what I'm saying? Even going back and doing my history and see what Barkowski did or Tommy Nubius and stuff like that. You know what I mean? You can't deny what those guys have done. So to me, it goes by errors. I'm really not into the greatest of all time or anything like that because the conversation, how you're gonna apply that to the conversation, right? You're
Right.
never you're never gonna get LeBron and Jordan on the same court. You're never gonna get Kareem against Shaq. You know. So for
Hey,
me,
but I said that on one of my previous basketball videos on one
yeah,
of my buddies' show. I said I always felt, GOAT is for errors
yeah,
because you put, like you said, you put these guys on the court at the same time,
yeah,
they still perform the same.
yeah,
Because one thing about it, somebody's gonna have to lose at the
yeah.
end of the day. So with LeBron work in Jordan's era, he probably would. And like I said
Right.
with Jordan, man, he was undefeated, true enough.
Of course.
But
Of course.
you got to think about it. The Lakers were getting old. The
Yeah.
Pistons were getting old. He just
Yeah.
hit the NBA at the right time,
Yep.
with the right mindset to win basketball game. Because, like I said, man, those 94-95 Houston Rockets back-to-back championships, they
They
would
were
have
good.
beat the Bulls at least once. At
They were
least
good.
once.
Yeah, they were good. So to me, Matt has done a lot more. I think if you could put Matt as far as like social media and being out of the forefront and being a face for the Falcons for a long time, I understand why you would put him at number one just because of the era that he played in and his impact and what he was able to do for 13 years. You know what I mean?
Right. Right.
Um, 13 years is definitely a long time, even for anybody. So but it's for me. It's just hard because it's just like you said. There's a lot of people that they don't understand. Falcons have had great players. It's just that people don't do their research on what the Falcons were, and now with the PR, with the PR game, as you can see, ESPN, FX1, and everybody else is paying more attention to the Saints and the Panthers. So it's a
Right.
PR thing. You know what I mean? So,
Right.
all of a sudden, a month ago they crowned the Saints, and now they crowned the Panthers, right? So, you know, so with the PR and all that other stuff, it's hard to say, but I think that Matt's probably at least one A. You know what I mean? One A. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? Like, so it's a
Who would you say is 1B?
I mean, you got. I mean, I would. Oh man, I would say. I mean, I would think Julio would be right there, man. I mean, you know what I mean? Just skill level, um, being how he was coming out of college, what they gave up to get him. A lot of people don't remember what they gave up to get Julio.
Oh man, a haul. I put it on a video a couple weeks ago.
Yeah,
They gave up a haul.
and he produced. I just think that Julio at the end. I think that Julio, he gets a lot of flack because of what he did at the end of his contract.
Right.
I don't think he gets a lot of credit, but let me say this. Julio got a lot of people fired. Julio Jones got a lot of people fired. Let me just say that, okay? And when you're at a skill position and you can get people fired, you're something special.
Yeah.
You're something very special. So let's remember that, everybody in the chat. Remember, the Panthers were going undefeated. Remember that. The
Yeah.
Panthers were going undefeated, and that team was kind of trash, but Julio Jones,
Picked
Julio.
us up. Yep.
So I would think it's Julio. I would think it's like Matt Ryan, Julio. I would think that would be my thing, but I can understand why people, like I said, Smitty, a lot of people, when you're talking about something that's subjective, I think people get the misunderstanding that it's just based on how you were raised or your
Right.
opinion, stuff like that. And I
Right.
think people need to start getting back to those types of conversations of being subjective.
Yeah.
Everybody's not going to think the way you think. Everybody's not going to want to do your content the way everybody does content. So I do my content a little differently because I like having uncomfortable conversations.
And sometimes you gotta do that, man. Sometimes you gotta step on people's toes, man. It's just that simple.
Yeah,
Because if you don't step on their toes, they're never gonna look at anything another way. They're just
yeah,
gonna see it one way and that's their way. So
Yep.
that's why sometimes I push the envelope and say the things I say because I want people to see things from another point of view instead of just one.
Exactly. Exactly. And I hope and look, and I hope and before I go, I just hope and pray that um the Atlanta Falcon content creators can keep pushing the envelope so we can grow this community how it should be grown. And you know, let's start having great conversation because when you have a conversation between each other, we can get a lot of things accomplished.
No doubt about it,
Get
man.
a,
Like I told you, man,
yeah,
I'm willing to work with anybody, bro.
yeah,
Anybody can come on.
yeah.
Hey, I'm good to go, bro. Like
That's
I
what I'm
said,
saying.
I can put my differences aside, bro,
Yes,
because
sir.
I'm a grown man at the end of the day.
Of course, that man. Salute to you and salute to everybody in your chat platform. Salute to Alberto and salute to everybody, man. You know what I'm saying? I'm about the support of the Atlanta Falcons. I am
No
about the
doubt.
support of the Falcons. I want to get away from being a fan because fans are fanatics and a fan can act erratic. So I'm trying to get more to the support of the Atlanta Falcons. I'm trying to be more of a supporter than a fan. But, let's start having these conversations, please. Anybody in the chat, anybody that's doing content, let's have these conversations because they are needed. They
No
are
doubt.
needed to have because the big dogs pay the way for the little dogs. I appreciate
No doubt
y'all.
about it.
Appreciate you. I know you're going on vacation. Have a good one. God bless and stay safe, my brother.
Hey, man, you do the same. I'm glad you was able to visit back home, man. Glad to see it.
Definitely, man. If anybody can get to Puerto Rico, get to Puerto Rico, man. It's marvelous over there. So, but salute to you guys, man. And hopefully, man, we could come on and have great conversations, man. I'm looking forward
Oh,
to it,
we
man.
will, dog. We will.
Yep.
Trust me, we will.
Alberto to stay up, stay safe, and everybody in the chat, you two gentlemen right here, man. John and C. You know what I'm saying? Salute to you guys as well, man. I took too much of your time, Smitty. I'm sorry, but you know
You
how I
good,
get.
bro? You good?
I
Like I
love
said,
y'all,
man, I
man. Love
appreciate you as
y'all.
always, man.
Love y'all like cook food, man.
No doubt. That's our boy, Big Wolf, man. Big Wolf. Cheesecake. Who's your greatest Falcon
Yo,
all time?
my Falcons all time, man. I'm gonna go all the way back. I'm gonna go all the way back at a quarterback. I'm gonna say Michael Vick, number one. Michael
Wow.
Vick.
Why would you choose Michael Vick as your greatest all time Falcon?
All right, so I honestly know I like Michael Vick. When he was playing for the Atlanta Falcons, you know, basically, he just handled his business on the football field. Um, out of the football field, he will help out the community, and this is something that I really like about football players who have come to the Falcons. They don't just do something for football, but they will do something for the community and try to grow with other
Right.
people and be there for other people. That could be like helping out people instead of homeless, or helping out people in the streets, or helping out young kids. You know what I'm saying? No, that's the same thing what JC Bates are doing right now. Currently, our JC Bates, the safety right now, he's helping out young kids right now. That's something I like about football because football is more than life. This is more than life. It's not just about football. It's life, and football is bigger than no life is bigger than football. So they just helping out young people. But I would say Michael Vick, and I would say the other wide receiver guys. I gotta go with my boy Julio Jones, man. I Julio, man. Y'all see his performance of Falcons. Y'all really take the time to really know who Julio Jones is, man. He's really like that, man. He's really like that wide receiver. Like he's on a whole different level, man, when it comes to football. I mean,
Right.
people say, "Oh man, Julio not a good wide receiver." No, with certain
Well,
teams,
we know that's
but
right.
if you really, but if you really look at Julio, man, he's really nice, man. He just play absolutely amazing football, man, and like he just Big Wolf said, man. No, man, he makes everybody get fired. I mean, once you put your stats in football and made it bigger. Coaches get fired. No, it no, it just happens. Julio just happens to be that wide receiver that I like as a Falcon.
Right.
Julio is better than Cavalli. Uh, but I think the Nets. I think that, and I'm gonna say this real quick. The Nets, Julio Jones, in my opinion, for the Falcons, it's gonna be Drake London. It's gonna be Drake London. You give him some
That says
time.
a lot. That says a lot. I don't think. See what you got to understand about that. Drake London can be a pretty good receiver, but Julio's athletic ability is probably what separates him from a lot of wide receivers. Because you look at Megatron in Detroit, he was another one of those receivers. That's why those two receivers to me are probably the best wide receivers they ever played because of their athletic ability. That's no knock to Jerry Rice. He's gonna always be the greatest because of his numbers. You talk about a guy he had over 200 touchdowns in his career. That's a record that's never gonna be broken. So when you talk about athletic ability and the way they changed the game, impact, Julio and Megatron are right there. You want to talk numbers? That's where you go Jerry Rice and you go Terrell Owens and Randy Moss. But you talk about overall ability, Julio and Megatron are right there.
Yes, sir, man. Totally agree, man. Totally agree.
But
But yeah,
before I get out of here, man, Big John. And shout out to Big John, man. Big John gave me another name, and y'all can see it on the screen right there. I don't know how in the world he came up with that name, but he came up with it. So now y'all can call me Smooth Smitty. But John,
There it
who
is.
is your greatest Atlanta Falcon all time and why?
I'm gonna split mine up. I'm gonna go deep in that offense, Smitty. Uh, what's happening, cheesecake? Um, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go offensive wise. It'll be Matt Ryan hands down with Julio a number two. And defensive wise, I'm going. I'm old. I've been around with these boys for a long
Hey,
time.
trust me, I
Yeah,
know.
yeah. Mine. I was crazy by Claude Humphrey back in the day. Claude Humphrey, him and Tuggle one A, and that's my two.
I can't argue with that.
That,
Like I
that's my
said
two on
earlier,
each side of the
man.
ball.
Go ahead.
That's my two on each side of the ball. Now I would have, I would have gone if he'd have lasted a little bit longer without tearing up a knee. I would have gone Andrews, but when he tore them knees, that just killed him. That killed him. He wasn't the same person no more.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah,
Absolutely true. Um, yeah, William Andrews, Gerald Riggs, we can go on and on, man.
yeah, yeah.
Marcus Turner. We've always I said we had great offensive linemen. We've always had good running backs as well.
Oh, we have. Yep.
So
Now, when you said Jerry Riggs, then that was you talking about garbage team, but total the rock. Oh my god. Oh my god. Whew.
y'all go back and check the list.
Yeah,
1984 to 1983 up to 1990. That had to
yeah,
be one of the worst stretches in Falcons history, other than the beginning years. That was one of the rough stretches ever. The
yeah.
Falcons couldn't win a game to save their life.
Nope.
Four times in that span. They either won two games or they won three games. It ended up with top pick and still couldn't get nothing done. It didn't
Yeah,
turn around to the end of the 80s when they drafted Dion. That's when they went into a new era of football.
yep, yep.
But
hey, Smitty, my bad.
wait,
I got a question.
go ahead. Right quick, go ahead.
So, do y'all think Deion Sanders is basically what we're talking about right now? Is y'all all time?
No.
Nope. Mine, Matt Ryan. Like I said, he was always put in a position to win, and he took advantage of it. And a lot of quarterbacks are put in position to win, but they don't take advantage of it. You talk about fourth quarter comebacks, like somebody said earlier in the show. You talk about accuracy, numbers, leadership, community, like you said. And Matt Ryan, he personifies all that, man. When you talk about all that wrapped up into one, that's Matt Ryan. So
his
I know
longevity
it,
got
right. 14 seasons, man, as a Falcon, that's a long time.
what he missed
Like you said,
2 games. What he missed
yeah,
2 games in
three
14
or
Yeah,
three games, right.
that's
So
that's
when you
that's
talk
getting it done.
right, and one time I know for a fact he played with a knee injury because
Yep.
he had a big brace on his knee. So I mean, Matt Ryan to me, he just personifies what the Atlanta Falcons try to be going forward because I give Arthur Blank more credit than anybody. When Arthur Blank got here, he started advertising his team right away. And to do that, he drafted an electrifying quarterback in Mike Vick and kept it going with Matt Ryan. Afterward, he's always had electric players on the Atlanta Falcons, whether it's offense or defense. You talk about Julio Jones. You talk about Michael Turner. You talk about, I mean, I can go on and on. AJ Terrell now. You talk about Sante Samuel, even though he was hurt a lot. So they've always had electrifying players. Right now, they just put it all together in one. And it's the first time I've ever seen them do it. So we finally got a front office that's competent, and I think it's going to pay off in the end. But Ms. Dunn says Matt Ryan, Julio Jones, Tony Gonzalez, John Abraham, and Warwick Dunn. If y'all missed that, my boy Roddy Shaka Sue says Roddy White. If y'all missed that interview with John Abraham the other night, man, please go check it out, man. That was very informative, and he got down and dirty with us, man, and crack jokes. Very down.
Put him in the ring of honor.
Hey, you got to, man. I talked about it the other night. Got to.
Yep. I was with you. Yeah, put him in the ring.
So you got to, man. Because I mean,
we ain't had that sack nigga since he left.
He said it himself. He said when they let this guy named John Abraham, it wasn't the same. And they haven't been. But Ring of Honor, he definitely should be there. And it's no knock to Arthur Blank in the Falcons franchise, but y'all got to start showing some love to the older players as well as the newer players.
Yep.
Because Chuck Smith, Patrick Kearney, they could easily be in the Ring of Honor. Terrence Mathis could be there. So Bobby Butler, he could be there. Roland Lawrence,
mad at him though, Smitty, but yeah, he can be there.
Roland Lawrence should be there.
That's the one. Roland Lawrence, not Bobby Butler, but Roland Lawrence. That's the one I'm upset about in that Dallas game. We ain't gonna go to that now.
Now we ain't gonna go to that one. But
we ain't gonna go to that
trust me, definitely Roland Lawrence should be in the Ring of Honor.
Yeah,
but
I agree.
Before I get out of there, man,
I like Tom Pride more than them, Smitty.
Yeah, he was a good one.
Yes.
Cheesecake, before we get out of there, man, please plug your YouTube channel.
All right, guys. I do a whole lot of Falcons content. Y'all can subscribe to my YouTube channel. It's called the Cheesecake Family 15, REACTS, like the letter snake, like the word snake. Once again, it's the Cheesecake Family 15, REACTS. So I do a whole bunch of Falcons content. I dance, rap. I enjoy being a Falcons fan. I've been a Falcons fan since 2002, and then I've been a diehard. Doesn't matter how many wins that Falcons get, I'm still a diehard fan, and I will talk my talk when it comes to the Falcons, man. So Falcons Nation, rise up. Thank you, Smitty.
No doubt. Before I leave, man, I gotta give a shout out to my boy Alberto. I talked about it a little bit earlier in the show. He did a video on Roy Coleman, one of the Falcons greats that no one talks about. And he got him as a forgotten Falcon. And if y'all go to my YouTube channel, y'all see a couple of forgotten Falcons on my channel as well. But the way he broke down Roy Coleman, man, it made a lot of sense. And he's probably one of the most forgotten Falcons, basically because he suffered a lot of injuries in his time. And it actually ended his career a little bit prematurely. But Alberto, Rod Coleman, Forgotten Falcon, man. Y'all please go check that out.
Yeah.
Because he put in his work on that. With the stats, the numbers, and his thoughts on that. But hey man, that's all the time I have for this show, man. It was a blast. I stayed on 24 minutes extra. Only supposed to do 30 minutes, but I got to stay on if y'all still talking because can't leave
Okay.
y'all high and dry. But
Yeah.
again, go to the description section of this video. Check out more Atlanta Falcons football content creators. Um, I'm gonna add more names to the list, and it's content creators all over Atlanta, all over the U.S. So please go check them out. They're not just in Atlanta. I have people support me all the way from Germany, Australia. So when you look at it,
Right on.
I love it, man. I love it. Out of your Falcon Mind, I'm glad y'all popped in. Out of your Falcon Mind, please go check them out. Their link is in the description as well. Great
Funny
content,
as
man.
hell.
Hey man, they keep us laughing, man. Stats,
Yeah.
math, and
Them guys, they're
they do
sweet.
their thing, man. And they
Yeah.
always showing your boy love. So y'all please go check them out on Out of Your Falcon Mind, man. The Dixon Way does live shows, reaction videos for the Falcons, Braves, Hawks. So y'all go check out the Dixon Way as well. Before we get out of here, he says Mike Ken or Cam Knight was our best offensive lineman in team history. I throw Bob Whitfield in there too, because Bob Whitfield was a monster, man. And I've actually interviewed him, and he's down to earth as well. So like I
Yeah.
said, man, I'm working behind the scenes because I care about y'all and I want y'all to, have the best and know, what's going on with the Falcons and in the
Man,
community.
you hit on the head though with Abraham. I had to give you that one. You hit on the head with Abraham.
Hey, I tried, man. He's a good dude, man. Like I said, I've been knowing him for about 5 years. I interviewed him about 5 times, and
Okay.
each time it seems to amaze me that he always had something new to talk about.
Yeah.
So,
He was right on. He was spot on. You know,
right?
if you can pull off him and Terry Matthews together,
Hey, man, that would be a show.
that'll be a show.
But if y'all go back, also, I did an interview with Jesse Tugger almost 2 years ago, and
Okay.
him and Chuck was on there, man. They was clowning each other, and I love to see it because they talked about the old days and the fun they used to have. And man, that
Okay.
was probably one of my. I mean, I felt like a kid in a candy store with
Yeah.
Jesse Tugger,
Yeah.
man. So I'm gonna try to get him on again during the season,
Okay. Okay.
but we'll see how it works. But
Right.
John, man, I thank you for always supporting me, man. Truly appreciate it. And that
Nothing but
nickname
love, brother.
sticking because they in the comment section on my videos calling me Smooth Smitty, and you
Move
got
Smitty.
Alberto texting me every day talking about Smooth Smitty. But
Move
Don
Smitty
Hammy
in '95.
Don Hammy, thank you for tuning in, man. If you're out of position all the time and just playing Madden all the time, Tanner got him out a lot, but his study the playbook cost a championship. She talking about Mike Vick, and I definitely agree with that. But on that note, man, thank y'all for tuning in, man. As always, love y'all, man. And this content creating thing, man, it's gonna get easier because we're gonna find a way to mend fences and do what we need to do to pull this fan base together because that's what we need.
Yep.
If the Browns and the Raiders can stick together, so can the Falcons. And both those teams
Hello.
been horrible.
Yeah.
So it is what it is, man. But
Yep.
support Antoine Smith Mill for Antoine Smith Mill, Big John, my boy Alberto, 95 North Falcons Talk Show. We're gonna holler at y'all soon, man. Peace.
Later, families.